Hello everyone, it's Moonkin FTW back with yet another episode of the RCT3 Coaster Challenge. And this episode we're tackling the suspended swinging coaster, which is something I've built a decent amount in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, but I'm pretty sure I've never built one in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Which also means I haven't built one in quite a while, and I'm also, the amount of times I build is still very limited, so I'm really not that good at this one because, it's not an inverted roller coaster. It really swings around, and the idea is, of course, is that the cars that kind of swing around, you kind of coordinate them with the corners, so to say. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. Again, English is not my first language, but yeah, it requires a different approach than your average inverted roller coaster, and I'm just not good at it. I'll tell you this. But yeah, I was able to develop a decent layout, and I'm going to use a pre-made support structure from that I've made with Mobius to the Jungle to support this ride. The supports are going to be pretty basic, but I think they do look quite nice. So they got some flanges, they got some, some slanted supports, if you will. So there's extra room for the swinging cars, and I'm just hoping it's enough room because these cars from the suspended swinging train are quite wide and they swing around, of course. But I think it should be okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust these supports wherever needed, where they don't quite fit. So here, that slanted support was a bit too long, so I'm using a shorter one. Here, I'm just making them a bit more simple. And yeah, that's already a good amount of the support structure done. But of course, what I also need is a design for the diagonal sections. So here, I'm just gonna make a new one. Follows the same structure, some flanges, some slanted supports, and of course a horizontal bar or beam that supports the track, so to say. And yeah, I think that also works quite well. I just got to make some minor adjustments here and there to make sure that it fits a little bit better. But yeah, in terms of support structures, this one doesn't actually owe me a lot of time, which is nice because, again, building supports is something that can be very time consuming. So yeah, I'm just figuring out all the supports. Again, I'm using this kind of like as a blueprint or like a standard support, and I'm like, okay, where does it work? Where doesn't it work? Where does it need some changes here and there? And I'll just go ahead and adjust it wherever needed. Now, normally I use footers that are round, but for this one I've thought about using the square ones just to mix it up a little bit. And also I think the square footers look a bit more old school, and that might not be the case in real life. I just think they look a bit more old school. And the suspended swinging coaster isn't really an old school design. They don't build these anymore. I think there's maybe one or two left, like very few are left because they're just old designs. And of course, at some point, any roller coaster, any theme park's like, okay, they're getting too old, they're too unreliable, it costs too much to maintain, so let's just get rid of it and build something else. So I think very few of these are still alive. I know there's Big Bad Wolf, and again, maybe someone else in the comments can correct me. So I'm going to add some pathing around it a little bit to make it a bit more interesting. I'm going to use BC's Path Mods. It's an amazing add-on. Again, I've plugged this add-on a lot of time, but it's really just great. It's where you can make curved pathing. Still have to have real pathing underneath, so to say, because of course the guest can't walk on this. It's just cosmetic, but you can just see how much it just transforms the paths, where normally would be this kind of blocky mess if you would try to make anything diagonal or anything curved. And here it swoops around so nicely. So I love this add-on. And yeah, a little bit of a central gathering area there with some bushes and some flowers. And I'm gonna add a mechanics to make sure the ride doesn't break down. And from here on out, I can start adding some fences, which I use Shy Guys for. It's another go-to of mine because, of course, I really like the BC's Path in combination with the fences, which, of course, makes it a lot more realistic because, of course, I don't want the guests to be able to walk up to this ride. Of course, there's always fencing around any sort of pathing. Also, in real life, if you go to a theme park, you can't just walk up to a roller coaster. That would, of course, be ridiculous and very dangerous. So this is what I'm trying to replicate here. So I'm just going over all the paths and then making sure that everything is sealed off or fenced off. And yeah, that's mostly it. I'm just going to add a little bit of foliage here and there for the ride itself. This time I'm using large hazels and large Douglases. Again, just doing a little bit different here and there, trying to mix it up a little bit. And again, just adding some foliage around the roller coaster to make sure it's not, surrounded by a a land of green grass, if you will. So yeah, and I think actually this tree combination is quite nice. The large hazel and the large Douglas fir. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the suspended swinging coaster. I think it looks quite nice. I think the color scheme is quite nice too. It's a bit more vintage, if you will. I don't know, I like it. I like the green track with the yellow supports. I think it looks quite nice. I think it looks really cool. So yeah, it's been quite a while. I don't think I've ever built one in RCT3, to be honest with you. So this is going to be the first time I'm actually going to do a POV of the suspended swinging coaster, because again, you know, in RCT1 and 2 you can't ride these. So let's see what it's like to ride a suspended swinging coaster. So here we go, up the chain lift. And I imagine, again, the swinging effect is not going to be too great because I'm not amazing at this. But let's see. So here we go, we're going to drop down into the first kind of turn here. Go up. Here we go, we're swinging to the right. Now we're swinging to the left. Nice helix here. It's actually not too bad, you know. That's a little bit janky there. Okay, here we go. Nice swinging to the right here into this helix. And then into our brake run, I believe. One final corner. Oh, that's a little bit too janky. It's still okay. It's still pretty good, considering I've never built one of these in RCT3. I think I did pretty good. So, yeah, let me just change one thing, because we did hit a support here. It's this one. Let me see. So I'm just gonna... Yeah, let's use the H4, I believe. So let's just go ahead and, yeah, change the color here. Remove this one. And, yeah, I'm just going to use 2 of these to make sure it doesn't hit. So, yeah, just vertical one right there. And let's use a flange. Let's see, flange H4. There we go. And a vertical one. And, of course, last but not least, let's just use a footer as well. So let's go all the way down, make sure I get the square one. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yep, that's nice. All right, guys, and that's it for the suspended swinging coaster. That's episode 58 in the bag. We've already come quite far. We have about 12 left, so we're well on our way of actually completing this challenge. I like this design. I think, yeah, I hope you guys like this too. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And that's it for now. Have yourself a wonderful day.